On World News tonight, a powerful earthquake off the west coast of Indonesia. There is panic in last December's tsunami zone. In Washington, the disappointed conservatives who say the president and the Congress are not doing enough for Terry Schiavo. Trying to reduce dependence on foreign oil, an unlikely coalition wants more pressure on the president. We'll take a closer look. In the Michael Jackson trial, the judge says that past allegations of sexual abuse may be used in this trial even though they were never proven. And here we go again with the fast food industry. Salad at one end of the menu and the fat monster at the other.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to begin in the tsunami zone tonight. We were also familiar with it over Christmas and New Year's, that part of South Asia which was so utterly devastated. There was incredible panic out there today when people believed that a powerful earthquake, 8.7 on the Richter scale, had set off another tsunami. The earthquake was only 100 miles south of the one in December. There was no large wave created today, but in Indonesia, close to the epicenter, the Reuters news agency is now reporting that perhaps between 1,000 and 2,000 people have been killed. Here's our first report from ABC's Mark Litke.
In the midnight hour, the island of Sumatra was in a state of panic. Almost as soon as the earth began shaking, hundreds of thousands of people began fleeing to higher ground, fearful that another tsunami was on the way. In Banda Aceh, the town hardest hit by the December disaster, roads were clogged with cars, trucks, motorbikes, bicycles, and many families on foot. ABC's Dina Antonio is in Banda Aceh on assignment tonight. She says people were jolted out of their sleep and shaking with fear.
I heard the neighbors started screaming and calling the names of their relatives and started praying and just started to run out on the street.
There are reports of hundreds of people buried in the rubble of collapsed buildings on the Indonesian island of Nias, a popular surfing destination in the region that was badly hit in the December quake. The quake was also felt up to 300 miles away. Tsunami alerts were also issued in Malaysia, Thailand, India, Sri Lanka, and Japan, following a warning from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center that the quake had the potential to generate a widely destructive tsunami. U.S. seismologists say the greatest threat of tsunamis comes when a quake is on the kind of fault line where one giant plate slips under another, violently displacing the water above it. But not all underwater quakes generate tsunamis. When two sections of earth rub up against each other horizontally, no water is displaced, no tsunami is triggered. In this case, it does appear that both governments and ordinary people were much better prepared for danger this time. There was no delay in issuing warnings, and ordinary people knew instinctively to head to higher ground. But there is still no tsunami early warning system in effect in the area. The quake itself was the warning, and for hundreds of thousands of refugees from the last quake still living in refugee camps, it was a grim reminder of how precarious their lives remain. Mark Litke, ABC News, Hong Kong.
We have an ABC News team in the tsunami region tonight. They report that shortly after the earthquake, the Indonesian president went on television to say that the military would enforce an evacuation zone along the coast. ABC's Dave Marish reports from Indonesia tonight that fear is the major factor.
From the city of Malabo, where wreckage still covers the peninsula surrounded on three sides by the Indian Ocean, to the smaller fishing villages along the coast, which lost up to 90% of their people, and in the devastated provincial capital of Banda Aceh, the possibility of another tsunami is the proverbial elephant in every room. British psychiatrist Lynn Jones, who's been working with tsunami survivors since January, says fear of the waves that hit 3 months ago remains so vivid, local people refuse to discuss it among themselves.
People tell me this again and again. I can't talk to my neighbor because he's lost someone too. He will start to cry.
40,000 people used to live in Malabo. 15,000 were killed in the tsunami, and thousands more were left homeless. But even in the rubble, people literally can't wait to start their lives over.
Across Aceh, people have not only survived, they've cleared their villages of corpses and wreckage and are in increasing numbers ready to leave their temporary shelters. With the help of the aid agency Oxfam, these former farmers are learning carpentry so that they can rebuild their own houses. Some have already built shanty homes close to the coast to defend their claims to their old home sites. Others, like these fishermen, say they have to resume the only life they know, even if it means living with the constant and unmentionable threat that catastrophic waves could strike again. Dave Marish, ABC News, Banda Aceh.
One other update in this respect, 300,000 people are dead or missing from the tsunami last December. The United Nations said last week only that many more would likely have died from starvation if not for the rapid deployment of emergency food supplies. In Florida today, the lawyer for Terry Schiavo's husband said that she had been given morphine for pain of which she might not be conscious twice in the last 2 weeks. She's been off her feeding tube for 11 days now. Mrs. Schiavo's father said today that she was weak and emaciated. In some respects, the public concern about this shifted to Washington. Evidence, once again, that once unleashed, the politics of life and death are not so easily managed. From the nation's capital tonight, ABC's Jake Tapper.
The protesters gathered in cold rain outside the White House to accuse Republicans of not doing more for Terry Schiavo.
This dear woman is saying, help me, stand with me. She is fighting for her very life now. Are we to say that the entire federal government is powerless to help her?
Today's vigil featured prayer.
So Jesus, we pray, bless our efforts here. God,
and tangible anger.
Was this a joke that they did last week, a political stunt?
Some protesters said they felt personally betrayed by President Bush.
What would you want him to do?
Anything he can. Anything. Something.
If they abandon Terry in her hour of need, they're really betraying the principles of moral values that brought them into office.
Protesters did not succeed in convincing the White House or Congress to act today, though lawmakers say they may debate end-of-life issues on a broader scale in the coming months. By then, of course, Terry Schiavo may be a memory.
Outside the hospice in Pinellas Park, Florida, Terry Schiavo's father, Robert Schindler, echoed the desperation.
She's begging for help. We're begging for help.
But even those sympathetic to the cause say all the legal avenues have been exhausted.
We've not seen any means by which the executive branch can get involved, and my heart is broken about this.
Republican officials say, as disappointed as these conservatives are today, future political fights, such as over an expected Supreme Court vacancy, will remind them who is on their side. Jake Tapper, ABC News, Washington.
And now we go to California. There was a major ruling in Michael Jackson's trial today. The judge said that the jury may hear allegations about Jackson's past from other boys, families, and witnesses, even though those stories have never made it into a civil or a criminal court. Prosecution claims the allegations will demonstrate a pattern of behavior by Mr. Jackson. In California for us, ABC's Jim Avalon.
Today's ruling allows the prosecution to introduce evidence of past sexual misconduct against Michael Jackson, involving 5 boys, including one accuser who settled with Jackson for a reported $2 million, the mother of a second accuser who settled for more than $20 million. Jackson denied wrongdoing in both cases. Prosecutors will also present testimony from former Neverland employees who claim to have seen inappropriate behavior between Jackson and 3 other boys, including the actor Macaulay Culkin. Those 3 have all insisted nothing sexual ever happened. But now the Jackson defense team will be forced to defend against these other cases because of a California law written in the 1990s. Its purpose to allow testimony showing the defendant has a propensity to commit sexual crimes. Nancy O'Malley says she has used the law more than 50 times.
Sex offenders are a unique population within our society, and for that reason, they can be treated differently in the courtroom.
Legal analysts say only 4 other states, Louisiana, Missouri, Arizona, and Indiana, have similar laws, allowing prior allegations against a sex crime defendant. Former Assemblyman James Rogan wrote the California law to support the testimony of child witnesses.
These cases involve the most vulnerable members of society, and these cases typically occur in isolation where there are no other witnesses.
In court today, Jackson's defense team accused prosecutors of desperation, bringing in unproven allegations to bolster a faltering case.
I've seen many people put away on propensity evidence where the actual case against them was extremely flawed and weak.
Defense attorneys say it's a frequent problem and now a new challenge for the Jackson defense team. Jim Avila, ABC News, Santa Maria.
When we come back this evening, will the United States ever reduce its dependence on foreign oil? What if it is a matter of national security? We'll take a closer look tonight. The new breakfast sandwich that has 730 calories. Bigger, maybe more profitable for the fast food industry. Better is another matter. And after the punishing drought in the West, the natural wonder revealed beneath the lake.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Ambien.
A funny thing happens when your body doesn't sleep at night. Your mind zones out during the day. It's like going through life on autopilot, out of sync with the world around you. To help you sleep, there's Ambien, the #1 prescribed sleep aid in America. Ambien helps you fall asleep fast and stay asleep longer, so you wake up refreshed, not groggy. Until you know how Ambien will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Side effects may include drowsiness, dizziness, and diarrhea. You shouldn't take it with alcohol. All people taking sleep medicines have some risk of becoming dependent on the medicine. Prescription sleep aids are most often taken for 7 to 10 days as needed, or longer as advised by your doctor. Memory problems can usually be avoided by taking Ambien only when you can devote 7 to 8 hours to sleep. Talk to your doctor about Ambien. Ambien works like a dream.
I'm not a patient man. Waiting, not my thing. 1 hour photo, too slow. Fast food, not fast enough. Heartburn, who has the time? I take new Maximum Strength Zantac. It's so fast I can take it before a meal to prevent heartburn or after to quickly relieve tough heartburn. And the leading prescription, it can take a day or more to fully work. Me? Wait, that's just crazy talk. For me, Maximum Strength Zantac.
Hey, buddy, move it.
I like this guy. New Maximum Strength Zantac, the speed you need against heartburn.
I swim, I jog. I love junk food. Sometimes even I get constipation.
X-Lax gives you gentle relief, regular for a little help, and maximum strength too. X-Lax for regular people who sometimes aren't.
For you, my sweet. I see you are overcome with love. Or could it be congestion and other seasonal nasal allergy symptoms? Your congestion will not keep us apart.
Only Nasonex is clinically proven to both treat and help prevent most seasonal nasal allergy symptoms, including congestion. Side effects were generally mild and included headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
Love means never having to say you are congested.
To treat and help prevent most seasonal nasal allergy symptoms, Nasonex is the one. Talk to your doctor.
Share the love. Spread the sweetness.
Splenda's the no-calorie sweetener made from sugar, so it tastes like sugar. Almost anywhere you use sugar, you can use Splenda.
Now to other news today. Burger King isn't even trying to pretend its new breakfast offering is good for you. It actually admits the new enormous omelet sandwich is even more fattening than the Whopper. Now we know that fast food chains also carry healthier options these days, some fruit, some salad. But as Dean Reynolds makes clear, the money is in the size.
Burger King says its big breakfast sandwich fills a big demand.
We saw a real gap in the market for larger, more filling on-the-go breakfast.
And with 2 pieces of cheese, 2 eggs, a sausage patty, 3 slices of bacon, plus the bun, it should definitely fill the bill.
It's a large sandwich. It hits our target consumer, and it's a good product.
Young men are the target.
I'd definitely try it again.
I don't care about the calorie. 730 if you're keeping score. To get the same amount of calories as there are in Burger King's enormous omelet sandwich, you could eat 3 pieces of cheesecake, or 4 slices of pepperoni pizza, or 7 glazed donuts, or 15 pieces of fried chicken for breakfast.
New, the enormous omelet sandwich.
Nutritionists say this is the wrong way to start the day. This gut buster takes about 10 hours for your body to digest, sapping your strength, draining your energy, and making you sleepy.
You will see where you will get more tired, or your mental acuity will be less because your blood is pooled in the stomach area.
Burger King is not alone in thinking bigger is more profitable, if not better. Even as they talk up healthy alternatives, McDonald's is now trying to work its burgers into hip-hop tunes. Because fast food knows its customer all too well.
They've had it with all these messages about health and nutrition. They don't really care. They want big food, and they want it fast, and they want it now.
Mike Lozada squeezes into that profile. He was downing his enormous whatever this morning with a big Coke and a side of fries.
It was actually pretty good, man. They're gonna go and give me another one.
It may only cost $4 at the counter today, but what it costs in health care over time is anyone's guess. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Chicago.
And everyone may pay for it in terms of health care as well. A couple of other thoughts from the Center for Science in the Public Interest. The Big Mac used to set the standard for food porn, as the nutritionists call it, at 590 calories. The Whopper, 690. The enormous omelet weighs in at 730. The Whopper with cheese, 780. And this we didn't know, down there in the right-hand corner. In the fast food universe, Starbucks Frappuccino, 830 calories. You do not see all those numbers on the menu board. Got a couple of notes from Iraq today. In Musayyib, south of Baghdad, a suicide bomber on a bicycle blew himself up near a police patrol protecting Shiite pilgrims on their way to a religious ceremony. 2 Iraqi policemen were killed. And in Baghdad, insurgents shot and killed a local police chief and his driver. Up at the International Space Station today, the 2-man crew went on a spacewalk. Their mission was to install new antennas and to deploy a satellite. They finished in 4.5 hours, and during the time that they were out there, no one was in the space station itself. When we come back, more earthly matters, as we've told you already, a closer look at the U.S. and its dependence on foreign oil.
So what can you tell me about this perfect real estate agent?
Well, she has a lot of experience.
And lots of sales.
She knows our neighborhood, the schools, maybe speaks a foreign language.
Icelandic. This could take a while.
Finding the right real estate agent shouldn't be this hard. At RE/MAX.com, you can search the industry's top sales force for the agent who's just right for you.
Maybe we should call up their surveillance teams?
Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX.
To keep things fresh in the freezer, use new Glad Press and Seal Freezer Wrap. It seals air out, so freshness stays in, because it's the only wrap that seals when you press it to get more air out than freezer bags. New Glad Press and Seal Freezer Wrap. For freshness in the freezer, get Glad.
Good news for those with arthritis pain. Reports are out about an independent government panel, according to the New York Times.
Several panel members said that patients in need of pain relief should first try naproxen, sold as Aleve.
Forbes.com says
the committee considered naproxen to be the safest NSAID from a cardiovascular standpoint.
Dow Jones Newswires writes, one member said,
naproxen is probably one of the safer pain medications on the market.
Ask your doctor about the good news. Ask your doctor about Aleve.
Let's talk about better. When someone says something's better, it's usually just their opinion. So if you suffer from acid reflux disease, frequent heartburn, and I told you prescription Nexium heals acid-related damage in the esophagus better, you'd want proof. And now, your doctor has that proof.
Recent medical studies prove Nexium heals that damage better than the other leading prescription medicine. No wonder they call Nexium the healing purple pill. So call your doctor today and ask if Nexium is right for you. Because if left untreated, the damage could get worse. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Hey, with Nexium, you don't just feel better, you are better. And better is better.
Introducing Ortho Weed Be Gone Max. So revolutionary, it targets and kills the toughest weeds without harming your lawn. Weed Be Gone Max sprayed here. Ordinary weed killer here. Only Weed Be Gone Max has a foaming action and weed targeting formula for total root kill. So it killed the weeds, but not the grass. The ordinary weed killer didn't target anything, so it killed everything. New Ortho Weed Be Gone Max kills weeds, not lawns, guaranteed.
You know about Allegra, but you should know about Allegra D. It just may be music to your ears. Ask your doctor about Allegra D. You need to know about it.
Tomorrow, what lack of sleep is doing to your teenager. From learning problems to mood swings to depression, now some schools say they have the solution. Tomorrow, a wake-up call for parents on World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
We're going to take a closer look tonight at the country's dependence on foreign oil because an unlikely coalition is trying to do something about it. In 1974, 37% of the oil used in the U.S. was imported. Last year, 63%. Now, you know, probably, where many environmentalists stand on this issue, but now they have been joined by 26 former national security officials, many from the Reagan administration and the first Bush administration. And these former officials have written President Bush saying that the U.S. must reduce oil consumption, and they say the sooner the better. Here's ABC's Ned Potter.
Some of America's leading policymakers came together to sign the letter. The former counsel to the first President Bush, who fought environmental lobbyists for years. An assistant defense secretary from the Reagan years. A former head of the CIA. Their motives for weaning the U.S. from oil are not about protecting the environment. It is more about war and peace.
This isn't rocket science.
Robert McFarlane was National Security Advisor to President Reagan. He says he is less worried about pollution than about the risk of war in the Middle East or al-Qaeda's threats to blow up oil lines in Saudi Arabia.
Well, I think in earlier years we didn't face as organized a terrorist threat as we do today.
The signers of today's letter say oil is running short enough that we have to look elsewhere for solutions. They propose taking hybrid cars and giving them bigger batteries so that instead of 50 miles a gallon, they get 100. They favor vehicles that can switch from gasoline to alcohol made from agricultural waste. And they would look to innovations in aerospace. The lightweight materials used in the most advanced planes could perhaps be used to make cars.
We now have the fruits of that previous research available to be exploited.
But just how realistic is that? Energy analysts warn that change is very slow. President Bush, for instance, has proposed hydrogen fuels, but it may take decades for them to become reality. He has also pushed for oil drilling in Alaska, but only this month did he finally win in the Senate.
But that will take years to develop, so there's no short-term answers for our energy problem.
Consumers may be a roadblock too. They're still buying big SUVs. Some are buying hybrids, but it's a much smaller number. But the clock is ticking. Some of Mr. Reagan's former advisors say if the nation does nothing, gasoline for $2 a gallon could someday look like a bargain. Ned Potter, ABC News, New York.
As the group says, it may be a matter of national security. When we come back this evening, the Cathedral of the Desert, the geological wonder revealed by the worst drought in 500 years.
This allergy season, ask your doctor about something different. Singulair. While many seasonal allergy medicines block histamine, Singulair works differently by blocking leukotrienes, an underlying cause of seasonal allergy symptoms. And one prescription Singulair helps relieve a broad range of seasonal allergy symptoms for a full 24 hours. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age, and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Singulair, a different way to treat seasonal allergies.
2 dogs with fleas. One calls his vet for Frontline Plus. The other gets the number 2 product. Both claim to be long-lasting, but over half the dogs treated with the number 2 product had fleas after just 1 week. The Frontline dogs? Not one flea. Frontline is the one that's waterproof and kills fleas fast all month long. So ask for the vet's #1 choice, Frontline Plus, and say goodbye to fleas and ticks.
Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
When your muscles take a beating, nothing works faster or stronger than Motrin IB. Not Advil, nothing. Motrin IB, medicine with muscle.
Introducing Roundup Extended Control. It kills tough weeds fast, and now it
It also prevents. Just spray wherever you don't want weeds, and you won't get weeds for up to 1, 2, 3 full months. New Roundup Extended Control. Weeds have met their match.
Denture wearers, we stained a string of pearls in barbecue sauce, not just to prove the stain-removing strength of Efferdent Plus or the freshening power of its Listerine ingredients, but to give every denture wearer the confidence to show those pearly whites. The confident clean of Efferdent Plus.
When you're congested, mucus can settle into your chest.
I love moving in day. Nice try, but I'm not going nowhere.
That's when you need Mucinex. Mucinex is specially made to break up the mucus that causes congestion.
Uh-oh. There goes the neighborhood!
That's better. And one Mucinex pill lasts up to 12 hours.
Hey, got any room at your place?
Mucinex in, mucus out.
Blinded in the line of duty, one cop must prove himself all over again.
I'm looking for something with bullet holes.
What are you going to do if you're wrong?
The outstanding new drama.
Let's find the shooter.
All new Blind Justice, Tuesday, 10/9 Central, only on ABC.
Well, it's certainly a magnificent picture out there in the West. Finally from us tonight, the drought that has caused so much suffering out West has also done something rather amazing. It has uncovered a natural wonder that had been hidden for decades. ABC's Judy Muller reports tonight from Lake Powell in Utah.
Lake Powell, one of the mightiest reservoirs in the West, has lost more than 60% of its water to the worst drought in 500 years. But conservationists are thrilled.
It covered one of the most incredible places on Earth. Truly one of the most spectacular regions.
For the first time since the Colorado River was dammed in the 1960s, inundating 186 miles, Glen Canyon is making a comeback. Far below that high water mark on the cliffs, visitors can now see long hidden rock formations, Indian ruins, and sinuous side canyons. And now, Glen Canyon's most famous feature has emerged from the depths, an enormous cavern called the Cathedral of the Desert.
It is absolutely overwhelming. I could not believe in my wildest dreams that we would ever see this place, because this is almost mythical.
A narrow slot at the top of the chamber sends a shaft of light into the cathedral-like space. A pristine waterfall serves as a natural altar. Only a handful of people have been here. Just 5 years ago, this cavern was under 140 feet of water. People who boated into the canyon had no idea what wonders lay beneath them. Rich Ingebretson, a Salt Lake City physician, founded the Glen Canyon Institute to lobby for the restoration of this area. That would mean an end to Lake Powell.
You have to store water, that's absolutely correct, for times of drought and fluctuating river flows, but you don't have to store water in our beautiful places.
His group argues that there is plenty of storage room for Colorado River water in Lake Mead below the Grand Canyon. But the government says both lakes are needed.
We have only been able to withstand 5 years of very severe drought in the West because we had water stored in Lake Powell and in Lake Mead.
But even as people debate the issue, nature may have the last word. For now, at least, it is providing a tantalizing preview. Judy Muller, ABC News, Lake Powell, Utah.
That's our report on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
All new tonight. More surprises. It'll be great. More emotion.
It truly is a pretty amazing story.
And all the things you've never seen. A brand new.
How'd they do that?
Tonight at 8/7 Central, only on ABC.
Yes!
All new, part 2. The first TV interview together. Lisa Marie and her mother, Priscilla. An exclusive next Oprah. Tomorrow at 3 here on ABC 7.
With amazing new wonders, new attractions, fireworks, even a parade with your Disney Pixar pals, our 50th anniversary is a celebration so big, we can hardly contain ourselves. Come join us for the happiest homecoming on Earth.
Hey, what you doing there?
I'm flame grilling fresh and Pollo Loco chicken.
You mean you're heating and serving it, right?
No.
Wait, fast food places fry things in boiling vats of oil.
You're grilling real chicken.
That's harder.
This flame-grilled chicken breast is in our new Chicken Verde quesadilla.